So how can you get people to actually buy from you? I think the number one most important thing to bear in mind is that relationships will win over algorithms, if that makes any sense. So you need to actually be a genuinely curious person, where you're curious about how other people are doing and what other people are all about. So this is a story that I also shared in my book, How to Survive as a Musician in the Digital Age, and I will share it with you here as well. So all the way back on MySpace, so we're going all the way back now, like back in the Stone Age on social media, I was promoting my music, I was promoting my video, and the way that MySpace worked, you would actually send people messages, you would be posting on people's walls. And it was interesting because what I saw was that a lot of musicians who were promoting themselves on MySpace, they never really clearly read the profile of the people they were dealing with. So I remember coming across the profile of a girl who was deaf, so obviously she couldn't hear anything, and I was reading her profile obviously, and then I scroll down and I see the other musicians and what they were posting, and other musicians, they were basically going, hey, please check out our music, but I mean the girl couldn't hear, you know what I mean? And this was of course because they were just copy and pasting, and they were not at all reading what people were actually writing on their profiles. It was the same thing with Vampire Freaks, you know what I mean? If you ever checked out that social media page, I remember coming across a girl from Northern Ireland who was ranting because she was so sick and tired of bands just copy and pasting their music on her page without ever actually reading her bio. So what I did when I came across her page was that I was a bit like, hey, how is everything going in Northern Ireland? You know, so I actually kind of addressed this thing that she was frustrated with, and there's no end to. She was like, oh my god, you know, you read my profile, how cool, you know. Same thing with the deaf girl that I came across on MySpace. I actually read through her profile, and I then sent her a message that was really nice, and I didn't actually paste my music on her page. It was just, you know, a message that was based on the content and the things that she had written about herself, you know what I mean? That is a very big difference between musicians who just do copy and paste and don't even care to read people's profiles, and this is actually how you form relationships, and this is how social media is done organically. It depends a bit on the social media platform, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So my recipe for success is that whenever you're actually building an online brand, you need to respond to the comments that you're getting, and you should preferably also go and check out the profile of the people who are really eager, who are commenting a lot on your content, and see who they are. You know, if you actually like the posts of people who are following you, a lot of times people are like, wow, you know, they can't believe it. So being genuinely curious when it comes to other people and not just being on an ego trip, that is really and truly what is going to, something that's going to serve you well further down the line as you create content and have a social media presence, okay? And that is, I think, a major difference between the majority of bands, musicians, and people who are trying to have an online brand versus those of us who sort of fit in with it, if that makes any sense, because you need to engage with people and be curious, I think, in order to then build trust, build a proper relationship, and that is how you will get, you know, people engaged whenever you do a crowdfunding campaign further down the line, and people will really appreciate it that you're actually looking at their content and see them as humans, not just as a number.